Who's a good boy? Who is a good boy? Well, ostensibly not pit bulls, according to the conventional wisdom online. I often see these articles about how pit bulls are these inherently psychotic killing machines, and I finally remember to make a video about it. So the claim is as such. Pit bulls are responsible for the highest number of bites and fatalities of all dogs in the United States. Therefore, they are intrinsically bad dogs and must be banned. And this is the conclusion one would come by simply by looking at the numbers without any further analysis. And I admit the numbers at a cursory glance don't look good. Pit bulls account for 72% of the overall dog-related deaths in 2018, allegedly 49% of all infant maulings, and almost half of all bites. To me, this is similar to the statistic that 52% of homicides are committed by African Americans, which are only 13% of the American population. If you were to make a very surface-level analysis of those numbers, one might conclude that black people are inherently more criminal. Despite the numbers being correct, that's a faulty conclusion. If you were to actually delve into the numbers and put some real thought into it, it becomes apparent that those numbers are the result of socioeconomic realities rather than genetic predisposition. Black people are not inherently more criminal, and a pit bull is not inherently more vicious. People try and use this doggy race realism argument, that pit bulls were bred from English bull baiting dogs, which, as the name would suggest, were bred for fighting larger animals, and thus must have a predisposition towards vicious attacks. This not only implies that nature plays more of a role than nurture, but also that pit bulls have developed this bloodlust over a mere 200 years of evolution, compared to other domestic dogs that are bred for similar purposes. The reality is that most dogs were bred for similar purposes. The Boston Terrier was bred for killing rodents. The Rhodesian Ridgeback was bred for hunting lions. The Akita Inu was bred for attacking bears and people. Yet none of these breeds are associated with being killing machines. Somehow, these dogs aren't blamed for having the same predisposition you see in most dogs. 30 different breeds were reported in fatal dog attacks over the last 30 years, and 11 breeds that have similar risk rates to pit bulls related to size and strength. The real problem is that pit bulls have a reputation, and as such, bad people tend to get pit bulls. Thuggish types who want to project an image of intimidation. The kind of people who neglect their dogs and specifically teach them to be violent in order to guard property. So it shouldn't be any mystery to anyone why they are the breed currently biting everyone. And 70% of dog bites are from dogs that were unneutered. Guess what kind of people don't spay or neuter their dogs? The same ones who don't care if they bite people. And I mean, we went through this exact same conversation when I was a kid about Rottweilers. Everyone cited statistics to show that they were these violent killing machines, too big and powerful to be controlled. And now, they're just another breed nobody talks about. Before that, it was Dobermans. Before that, it was German Shepherds. After World War II, they were considered dogs of war, and people were apprehensive about their predispositions. Again, these are now considered good and loyal dogs. It comes down to training far more than breed. Now, people will point to the anecdotal instances in which a normal family pit bull just snapped and bit some kid's face off. But again, I can pull up all sorts of one-off instances where other breeds have done the same. It's just a dog thing. Every once in a while, they respond negatively to something in their environment because they don't understand what's going on. But good training typically negates this. Dogs in general have been domesticated towards docility much longer than pit bulls were specifically bred for fighting. So it's just as likely, if not more so in their nature, to be good dogs than bad dogs. The real argument doesn't stem from genetic predisposition towards attack, but rather the capability of the animal if it does attack. Chihuahuas are notoriously mean-spirited, bitey kinds of dogs, but nobody cares because of their low capability to cause harm. So to ban pit bulls simply because they have the ability to harm is like exiling all the bodybuilders in your country because they could beat you up. I mean, look how big they are! He could snap you in half if he wanted to, so why risk it? Also seems a little hypocritical since there are lots of other large breed dogs that could easily rip your throat out. And according to the American Temperament Test Society, pit bulls scored an 87% favorability. That's actually pretty high, considering a Scottish Terrier only has a 65%. And although it's true that pit bulls currently do kill the most people annually, the idea that they are more prone to bite people by breed is a rather dubious claim. Pit bulls make up 22.5% of all bites. The next runner-up is mixed breeds at 21.2%. So they're claiming that pit bulls are so much worse based on a mere 1.3% difference, which could easily be explained by how unscrupulous the owners are utilizing these dogs. Hell, 1.3% is practically within a margin of error. It certainly doesn't convey to me that these dogs are inherently worse than any other. It seems rather blatant to me that the incriminating stats are heavily swayed by sociological externalities rather than genetic predisposition. And in 20 years' time, when the thugs and junkyard owners move on to a new breed of dog, nobody will have this solving the Pitbull question conversation anymore.